I sold a lot of classical music CDs that I now have to box up. I have them over here. I'm already putting together more over there. Here it is. It's actually in a banker's box right now. There's 131 of them, and I need to fit them into a box. I potentially could put them into two boxes, but I'm going to stick to one. See if I can pad it up well enough to make sure that they're not going to move around and that it'll minimize any broken cases, that kind of thing. Now I have to find the right box to put them into. Usually 131. As you can see, it's not enough to fill up the banker's box, so it's not too heavy, so I should be able to put them all into one box and situate them in a way that they are not going to get damaged. Of course, the post office is notorious for damaging large packages or packages in general, but I've had good luck with packaging them in a way that they don't move around, and so as long as they're not thrown or dropped from high, dropped from up high, they should be okay. I also write on the side of the boxes, fragile media, handle with care, that type of thing. And it's worked out well, where I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, since I started doing that. I've got quite a lot of boxes that I have here stored in the restroom. A lot of different sizes, so that I can make sure that I have the right box. I don't have to be cutting the boxes down too much for whatever I've sold. So in this particular case, I need a larger box. This might be a bit too small. I can try that one, which I don't think it'll work. That's going to fall. This one will work for sure. I'll probably go with this one. These boxes, all the boxes that I have, every single one that I use for shipping are all found in recycling dumpsters around where my businesses are and where I live. There's a couple that I go to. There's 1, 2, 3 in particular that I will go to find not only boxes but also packaging materials. And there's some other random dumpsters that, not random, I should say. There's a few others that once in a while I will go to, but for the most part I go to those 3 and I find enough. There's another one that I used to go to a lot near one of the post offices, but it's unfortunately, there's a restaurant that opened a couple years ago and a lot of restaurant boxes are being thrown in there, which I can't use. So it kind of messes it up. There didn't used to be a restaurant there, but yeah, that's what I do to find free packing material and free boxes of all different types of sizes. And here where we live in Southern California, the recycling dumpster and the normal dumpster are separate, so you don't get all the gross stuff in the recycling dumpster. So the kind of stuff that I find is, of course, this typical packaging paper, brown paper here. Same as this one. This one just needs to be ripped apart. And I've occasionally found these, which are sort of thick. Inside they have sort of foam. Once you cut them open, you can see inside. Kind of see. Hold on. You can see they have that in there. These can be used to pad the bottom, pad the sides, pad the top, that kind of thing. It's not the same, not as flexible as the paper, but I just picked those up. So I'll see if that makes sense to use those. It might not, but I'll see. always add some tape down the middle here to reinforce the box. Make sure it doesn't have any issues. So now I have to see if it's all going to fit. I think it will fit. I just have to make sure that I can properly pad it. Let's see. Now, the thing that I was going to talk about most in the video, or at least my main point, was that it's kind of hit or miss sometimes when you do auctions. So I put all of these classical CDs that I pulled from the Gaylords. Technically, well, I pulled it from the Gaylords or the pallets, and I've been going through these boxes here until I start reaching into another full pallet, which is over there. It's my next one, full pallet of CDs. So I've been pulling from there, and there's always a lot of classical CDs, always. Tons of them. And there are some that are worth money individually that I will sell on Amazon or eBay. A few here and there I'll put in the store if they are more sought after, because there's so much classical music that doesn't make sense to put it all. Some of the more rare stuff or more sought after stuff that's not such a high price that I can put it in my store. That works out, but there's always a bunch left. And I sold a lot but I don't remember how many, but it was over 100 classical CDs. I ran an auction for 7 or 10 days, starting at $1.99, and it went up pretty high, or a decent amount, enough to make it worth it. I did the same thing with this. I did 7 days, started at $1.99 plus shipping, of course. And unfortunately, it only had a few bidders, and it was only bid up to $7. So this was a bust, but I still have to ship it. That's fine. I'm glad to get rid of it. I'm glad that it goes to somebody that will use it. I'm assuming they're going to listen to music. They might pull all the CDs and just get the CDs. They might keep all the CD or all the jewel cases with the artwork. Who knows? But it's going to be out of my hands and free up space. And it goes to somebody. So I didn't make much money off of it at all. After everything, I only make a few bucks. But that's what happens when you do auctions. Sometimes, or you're going to risk not making much money unless you've really tested it out. And I've had some good sales auctions with classical CDs. So this one, for some reason, maybe it's what was in there. I thought there was some good stuff in here. What was in there maybe was not good enough, or just wasn't enough bidders. So I'll probably do with the next one is do a buy it now. You know, if I have 130 or something, maybe I'll do super low. I'll do like 50 cents each for them or less. So if it's 131, like I do like $50 for the whole lot, taking offers, and see what I get. I don't know though, but the thing about that is though, then I have to hold on to them longer. That's why I like running auctions. So we'll see what I do some more research, but just keep it in mind if you're gonna run eBay lots in auctions, that in general, but you're going to tend to get less money than buy it now, but it will sell quicker typically, unless you have something that's going to sell super quick. But yeah, so low profit, almost no profit on this one, but at least I get rid of it. And I could have just pulled all the CDs, put them into a loose CD lot like I'm accumulating over here. I have enough now to put into a eBay lot. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stacks, which means I probably have around 600, 550 CDs. I have enough to do a lot, or the amount that I like to do. I could have done that, but I decided to just put them together. And unfortunately, they just didn't sell for as much as I've had in the past. It's always trial and error, so you've got to try out these things, see what works. You know, if it doesn't work the way you're doing it, try something different. It might be the photos, it might be what's actually in there, the titles. You might want to put better titles if you're going to do that. This is, for me, it's just excess to get rid of it, try to make some extra money. And that didn't work out. But ultimately, you know, you learn as you go along. Even though I've been doing this for a while, sometimes things don't go as according to planned, or even based on the past and how things have gone. But by and large, the more that you test, the more that you sell, list and sell, of course, not just list, but sell, the more you know what works and what doesn't generally. Doesn't mean you know everything. You never know everything, but you know enough to where you can sell consistently. So I sold this. There's another book lot that I have to pick up, just 2 books. I also sold an individual book for good money, $60 on eBay in the last 24 hours. And then I sold a book on Amazon. So I sold some other stuff as well, not just this, but I'm just glad to get rid of it. All right, guys. So just keep that in mind. Do your research, test, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but that's just how it is. All right, guys. See you next video. Take care.